All right, so for today's focus, it's on strength training the ankle, but more specifically the tendons and ligaments. So in order for us to have a strong ankle and not to experience like discomfort or injury, we need to build tendons and ligaments, and the tendons and ligaments are embedded into the muscle. And that's the foundation. So we need to incorporate it all. And I'm going to show you what you should be doing when you are trying to build strong ankles, as well as to prevent Achilles injuries. So I have a mat here, and we're going to be doing isometrics. So isometrics are basically static holds of force with no movement. And it's just basically, just think of it as you're squeezing your fist and you have tension and the muscles are activated, but there's no movement, right? So when we start moving, that's when we start to build or start to signal the body to build muscle. So think of it like no movement is tendons, strength training of the tendons, because it's only focusing on the tissues that we currently have. When we start moving, that's when we're activating or communicating with the body that we need more muscle proteins. So right now we need to build tendons and then build muscle. So what we're doing here is I have the foot in an elevated position. We call this dorsiflexion. And you can, for right now, don't worry about where or how thick the mat is. If you find that the mat is kind of thick and it's you have some discomfort, then you can unravel it to where it's thinner. It'll give you a little bit more give. So it all depends on your anatomy, right? So the thicker the mat is, the more it's gonna put your foot into a stretch. So I would say start very, very thin and then build up, okay? So I'm gonna unravel it. So like I said, you're building to progress. So we're going to start low and then build into strength. So right now the mat is flat. I'm at the end range of my position. And what I'm going to be doing here is the first sequence is to see if your body can even tolerate being placed in this position. So all I'm doing here is just putting the ankle in a passive stretch, not really trying to push or add tension, just seeing if the body can be in this position. So that's your first kind of assessment. And we're assessing, you can assess your range of motion here, right? So I'm more than 90, so 90 degrees would be here. This is about like 60, 70. This is also the bottom of your squat. So you're assessing your ankle, and for every movement, the first movement is a passive movement. So when we jump, it's that position, it's passive. It's the stretched position, okay? So we're seeing how well we do in the stretched position, and the sequence goes, you're searching and loading, right? So searching is finding the areas that we're gonna work, right? So if we have a specific area, a specific injury, or line of tissue or tendon that we're focusing on, we're searching for that, and then we're putting it under load. So we search for the area of discomfort or the area that we're focusing on, and then we hold that for 2 minutes. The 2 minutes is just to allow your body to get accustomed to that position before we actually start adding force. Okay, so say we're here for 2 minutes, we're comfortable, and that's like your first gateway, right? If you're here for a minute or 30 seconds and you start getting twitching and it's discomfort and it's painful, that's the signal to back out, find a new area, unravel the mat, go a little lower, go from the ground. So that's like your first sequence. So you're searching, loading. If you got pain, you're coming out of it and adjusting. Okay, say the 2 minutes is up and we found our area, it's under load. Now we're gonna add some tension and strength to those areas. So say for instance, I'm focusing on this area of the lower calf, or say you have an Achilles injury, we're focusing on that area. You found it, you stretched it, you feel it, and now we're gonna specifically target it. So now how we do that is we press down into the foot. So the heel stays down and the foot is pressing into the mat, but we're not going at 100% yet. We're starting at 10% because we also want to see if the tissues or the muscle or the tendon that we're working on can take that amount of force. So we don't want to shoot up to 100 and then cause more injury or rupture. We want to kind of give it subtle cues, little inputs first at 10%, and then we drive to 20. And when I say drive, we're more force, 30, 40. And let's stay at 40 right now. Next week, you'll probably jump to 60. The week after that, you probably jump to 70, 80. But right now, you're gonna get 10, 20, 30, 40. 40 is about lower moderate. And we're holding a consistent contraction in that position. And the goal here is to refer that force back into either the area that we're working, into the stretched body part or tissue that we're working. So you're gonna hold that consistent contraction, okay? We don't want any fluctuations. Once we get any fluctuations, that's when we stop, okay? So there's two ways to do this. You can stop and come out of it slowly. But what I recommend is staying in the position, because the goal is we want to train our body to be under load. So you're going to stay on this position, catch your breath, get about a 30-minute break, and then you're going to push down into the mat with the foot, toes, midfoot, midsole, and you're going 10, 20, 30, 40. Hold 40 for a good strong contraction. Rest 30 seconds, and then we'll go through another set. And once there's a dip in fluctuation in your contraction, or you're unable to kind of hold a steady contraction, that's the end of the set. So that's how you should be strengthening your Achilles, your tendons, before strengthening muscle. So this is a great way to also strengthen the bone or prepare for what we will be doing with strengthening the bone, or for like squats and things of that nature, because the force that we're pushing down is the same force that you'll experience when you're squatting or jumping. So try that out. Let me know what you think. And like I said, adjust different positions to where you feel that you're not in discomfort or pain. Like use the mat. You can roll it up, roll it down. You can start from the ground. So start from the ground. I would say start from the ground. If you're great with that, roll up a mat. And then you can progress with a thicker mat.